All right, so for our next bout, we have Sung Yep Woo out of the red corner, and we have Zach Rhatigan out of the blue corner. Both of these gentlemen are blue belts in jiu-jitsu, and this is a bout at 175 pounds. So, starting off round one, looks like we're going to have, Zach is jumping into a donkey guard, and looks like he's going to play from bottom position, maybe try and invert underneath, get some elevation, potentially get it on a leg. Looks like Sung is already committing to try and pass here. He's doing a good job kind of keeping his hips away, trying to keep his head down low, avoid those inversions. Oh, it looks like Zach is looking for some potential short arm locks here. Sung doing a really good job, though, of keeping his arm out of danger. Sung is really trying to pass this guard now, keeping in mind that there are no points. This is a submission only match, so looks like Zach was not too troubled to let Sung pass his guard. Sung's got a gift wrap here. He's going to try and take the back off of this most likely, and oh, there we go. Looks like Zach was able to utilize the cage and kind of spin out and avoid the back control here. Zach rolling to the mat to recenter. Now, Sung absolutely could have jumped in on him there. The match was still going on, and under the arena rules, the whole point of this match is that the cage can be used. So, but Sung showing some restraint there, maybe wanting a little bit more space to work since he did lose that back take, specifically because the cage was there. Again, we're into a similar exchange that we first saw where Sung is trying to keep his legs back, and he's trying to get inside, claim that middle position there with his leg, and then utilize that to he's probably going to try and staple down Zach's other leg here. He's doing a good job pummeling in, and it looks like he's able to utilize that to pass almost all the way to full mount, but Zach still kind of got that foot trapped, and oh, there we go. Sung able to pass all the way over to side mount now. He does have one arm isolated, and he is probably going to try and step over the head here and try and work on isolation, maybe a Kimura or an Americana attack on Zach's other arm. And yeah, you can see he's pushing on the head there. Yep, steps right over, lifts up the head. He's going to potentially try and lock up a triangle here, but as you can see, he's got a good isolation there, but Zach immediately recognizes that, tries to pull that foot off and make sure that he gets his head out of danger there. Sung has stepped over into a knee on belly position here, maybe potentially looking for an around the world style armbar. Or yeah, he steps over the head. He's either going to look up to lock up a Kimura grip. Yep, so from here he's going to try and break the hands and finish the Kimura. And if he's unable to do that, he's most likely going to start to turn towards a straight arm lock. Zach doing a really good job keeping his hands locked here and turning. Yep, and he's kind of turning in here. So Sung's got going off for the arm lock here, but he does have both of his legs there. He uses an X to try and break it, and Zach is doing a really good job of keeping his shoulders flat to the mat. Sung is going to abandon that. Zach trying to throw up a potential buggy choke here, but Sung's doing a good job of setting out to Kesa Katami. And as I say that, he elevates and gets some space. Really, the main way to avoid the pressure of that buggy choke is to keep space in between your chests and kind of get some elevation there on your neck. Sung easily does that, and again he's working that same sort of both arms over the top, trying to isolate that far side arm, and see he's doing a good job here of keeping the pressure on Zach, keeping Zach guessing where he's going to go next and what he's going to attack with. But you can see he's starting to look for an Americana grip there. He abandons that, looking for a potential head and arm triangle. And Zach tries to use a little bit of a scramble potential there to invert underneath, but Sung does a good job switching over to north-south position. Sung walking his legs up here and trying to, again, staple an arm, isolate, and start to attack that far side. Probably going to look for another Kimura grip here if he can free it up, but Zach is doing a really good job of making sure that anytime Sung tries to isolate a limb, he is not letting him have those isolations easy.
30 seconds.
So we've got Sung here potentially go for a potential Bravo choke here and maybe utilize that to take the back. He looks like he's looking for a Darce. But Zach is doing a very good job at recognizing these submission dangers. And that's one of the interesting things here about this rule set is even though Sung has been throwing up these submissions, and it looks like he's got this deep darce in here, Zach is doing a good job, though, of creating space, and that's going to be the end of the round. That's one of the interesting things about the arena rule set, right, is you could win a round by being on top and being in an attacking position the entire time, but that doesn't mean that you win the round. You only win the round if you get a submission. So here we are, starting off round 2, and looks like Zach might be more inclined to wrestle. Sung doing a good job utilizing that cage. Going to start using some cage wrestling here, pinning Zach up, and Zach is going to jump into that guard position here and concede that bottom spot, and hopefully he can get some offense mounted here from his guard. Sung trying to create some space. Looks like Zach potentially looking for a De La Riva guard there, but the cage really does change a lot of your standard jiu-jitsu entries when you're pushed up against the side there, because it eliminates Zach's ability to invert and go underneath or go towards the side where the cage is. And Sung is doing a really good job here of passing to the other side and kind of keeping Zach almost immobilized to his attacking side. And he does a really good job here of stapling that leg. So see, Sung has his foot and his knee stapling down Zach's other leg here, and that's really it makes it difficult for Zach to mount really any offensive maneuvers from this position. So Zach is going to keep trying to free that leg, maybe switch into like a De La Riva guard and start to work his game. But Sung is doing a really good job of keeping that top pressure, utilizing the cage, flattening Zach out. So yeah, from this position now, he is effectively passed on the full mount, and he is going to start to work potential smother choke here. Might be tough to finish, but he's probably going to utilize that pressure to hopefully open up a head and arm triangle or potential arm lock, maybe even a back take. He's just kind of using that crushing pressure. But Zach really seems comfortable in these positions. Zach is just riding out the storm, taking it easy in these bad positions, and really not committing to a formal defense here that is going to be an expenditure of energy. Sung doing a really good job climbing up high here, and he's getting into that deep S mount where he can hopefully isolate that arm and potentially drop back for a straight arm lock, or he could potentially use this to take the back here. He's doing a really good job, though, of getting that foot tucked underneath that shoulder there. You can see Sung's right foot, and that really allows him, so there you go, he's able to drop back into a real deep body triangle from the back and take the back from here. So all submissions are legal, so you might see Sung trying to do some more neck crank style finishes, or python choke, the smother choke, which is illegal in some competitions, especially at blue belt, but in the arena banner they are encouraged to go for different submissions, and it looks like he's got that under the chin. Yep, and there you go, Sung gets the short choke finish in round 2. So that means we're going to move on to round 3 now. Ready? The first round had no submissions. The second round, Sung won via that short choke from the back. So Zach really needs to get a submission here, otherwise Sung wins. Sung wins with either no submission in this round, or obviously if he gets a submission, he'll be up 2-0, and that'll be his win. So Zach is going to really have to mount some quick offense here, and hopefully make. Oh, and he's dropping back for the no-gi baseball bat choke. It's going to be tough to finish here, but it looks like he's got a solid grip on this, and Sung cannot create the space. Oh, and he gets the tap. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a match. So it is 1-1, which means we go into the first overtime of the night. This is a unlimited overtime match. So basically, this ends only when there is a submission. This round continues to go until one competitor taps out and we have a definitive winner. It looks like Sung is keeping that pressure on again. He has been doing a really good job utilizing that cage and those wrestling stand-up exchanges, and basically forcing Zach to pull guard almost immediately. Sung creating some space, getting that knee inside, going right to that staple, maybe potentially looking to drop back on a straight ankle lock here or try and enter into a leg lock exchange. Zach trying for a quick little wrist lock here, and that would be quite the way to lock up a quick submission, a quick wrist lock. But Sung did not seem phased. He is immediately starting to pressure forward, starting to try and work that knee inside and advance himself to those dominant positions. Oh, here we go. He back steps. So Sung is stepped into this honey hole 411 position. It looks like he is not locked up the triangle yet, but he is focused on isolating that primary leg as well as keeping that secondary leg out of play here, which takes away a lot of Zach's defenses. Zach is going to need that secondary leg to really mount any defense, and it looks like he's got it back here. So Sung is going to try and get some heel exposure here and go for a heel hook. What he's going to need to finish that is he's really going to need to keep that knee line in tight. He's going to need to get a good bite on that ankle, and it looks like Zach immediately able to kind of pull that leg out and escape that bad position there. So Sung once again going with that knee, keeping that knee right in the center, trying to claim that center position. That gives him the ability to pass and also backstep right back into that honey hole, which you can kind of see from this position. He is threatening both at the moment. He's pushing his body towards the honey hole, but then as Zach turns, he immediately staples to the other side and starts to initiate a knee cutting pass. Here he's doing a really good job utilizing the cage, and Zach is going to try and walk his legs up and potentially use that cage to, there you go, he utilizes that cage to enter into his own leg exchange, but Sung does a really good job just stepping that foot out and immediately right back into his passing sequences. So here we go. Sung has now officially passed the guard and is starting to mount an offense, but Zach is doing a really good job trying to throw those legs up quick, maybe catch a quick arm lock after Sung has settled into those more dominant positions. Really utilizing the submission-only rule set and kind of letting Sung settle into what would traditionally be considered dominant positions. Oh, and Sung, he does that same thing, back steps right into that honey hole. He is isolated that secondary leg here. You can see he's going to try and use his top leg there to pinch that lower leg, lock it up so that way Zach can't do what he did last time, using that free leg to post, turn out, and pull away. And from here, Sung really needs to focus on just keeping everything locked up. And once he feels confident that he can initiate a heel hook attack, he is going to start working towards getting a break on that primary leg. But Sung's doing a really good job here focusing solely on that secondary leg and isolating it and keeping it locked in here. So this is a really tough position now for Zach. Sung is going to try and pass that leg to the other side, go underneath and get that torque for the heel hook. It looks like he's got a bite on it and he's getting the rotational pressure. That leg is locked out and we get a verbal tap. All right, so Sung takes it in overtime. So that was a really nice back and forth match, some real technical jiu-jitsu, but Sung ends up finishing it with a heel hook in round 4 and the short choke in round 2.